Thanks so much to all my patrons. Join now to help support the channel and help pick the books that I review. Link in the description. And I am done. Okay, so I just got done reading Exile by R.F. Salvatore. This is the second book in the Dark Elf trilogy, and I want to give you my unedited thoughts upon finishing this book, which is literally just right now. So, yeah, I struggled with this one a little bit. Things I liked the back half of this a lot more than the first half. But yeah, I'm going to end up giving this one like 3.5 stars. Somewhere between just thought it was okay and liked it. But ultimately, I am a little bit scared going into the rest of these Drizzt books, because this is all from the Drizzt universe. Or Drizzt, or Drizzt, or Drizzt. I think it's Drizzt. I think there's a lot of different ways to say it. I've heard the author say that you can say however you want, and he wanted people to kind of mess it up so they would get in debates and talk about it more. But I've also heard that he calls it Drizzt, so I'm going to say Drizzt. But yeah, I'm ultimately now a little bit scared going into the final into all these rest of the Drizzt books, because I read the first one, Homeland, and I thought it was incredible. I gave it 5 stars. One of my favorite books that I've read, that were written before 1995, or is it before 1990, or is this an 80s book? I don't know. And I thought, man, this is great. I have $30 books or so, or however long this is, to get into this series. But the sad thing I'm finding is that the things that I loved about the first book feel like we're leaving those things behind. The things I loved was the world, this underground world, because this whole series, at least the beginning first 2 books, are set in this huge underground cave system, enormous cave system, and the society that has been built of these dark elves that have this spider queen and these different families that are all fighting for who can be the strongest family, and the rules they have about when they can fight and what they must do and how they take over other families, and this intricate female-led politics, and the males are second class, and it is exquisite. I love everything about it. The politics is great, and that's the first book was heavily involving that. But the second book, we find Drizzt leaving that society. And the point of this book is they're trying to kill him. He is an outcast. He's run away, and they want him to die. And every time that we went back to that society, because a third of this book was taking place there, I loved it. I was all in. I was 5 out of 5. Perfect stuff. I just loved it. But then when we left and we followed Drizzt in his adventures, I was really bored. I was bored to tears. It felt like made for teenage Matt, not, late 30s Matt, or almost 40 Matt. And now Drizzt, by the end of this book, and I'm light spoilers, I don't think it's major, because I think the plots of these are fun, but I don't think it really matters that you understand that Drizzt eventually moves on, right? I think that's the whole point of these books. But he's now leaving underground. He's going above ground, and he's going to go off on these adventures, and we're going to get these little teeny adventure books. And because I didn't like the adventure side of things. I don't want that anymore. And so, yeah, major concern on my front going forward. But we'll see. Maybe I'll fall in love with it. But, chances are I'm not. So I'm not going to give a ton more chances here. I'm going to read the next one, see how it is. Maybe, these are all separated into, I think, trilogies. I think there's a bunch of different trilogies, and maybe I'll find out what's the best one. Do I need to read them in order? Maybe I need to read the best one, see how that is, see if it hooks me. But yeah, very concerned. So yeah, talked about the plot a little bit. Let's talk more about the setting here, because this book, it takes place in this cave system, and it involves Drizzt trying to find his way and trying to beat loneliness, and not be this mindless hunter that he defaults to when he's on his own, and actually try to find his way in a society, and not the Dark Elf society. Try to find a different society that he can get along with, and be able to communicate and not drift to that primal side of him. And those themes are interesting ones. But you get beat over the head with it continuously through this book. It's brought up a lot, and that was unfortunate. But still, he makes a friendship here with a what do you call him? It's not another kind of elf. It's some sort of dwarf or goblin or something like that. And, you know, they become friends. It's only for this book. And I feel like that's going to be a repetitive thing where he, you know, finds characters that he spends some time with and then leaves them. Maybe that's not true, but I suspect it is. And, you know, there were moments of this book, and it split up into these little adventures that he has, all while trying to be hunted by this by the Dark Elves. They each have, it's like really, it can be broken up into these small little plots that are each like 50, 75 pages long. And it's just too frenetic of a pace. You're spending too fast going through all these moments. And while there's these interesting moments here, that more of the interest in like the beasts themselves that he's going up against and the intricate nature they are, I think in part because this is all based on Dungeons and Dragons. So there is like kind of lore that you can fall back on that's very well done, and does capture the imagination and these different societies that are all here that would be hard to make on your own. And so to be able to kind of pull from that is probably a very useful thing for R.A. Salvatore. And so I did have fun in those moments in the plot in this world, but you know, as we drifted further and further from Menzoberranzan or whatever it's called, the main city of the Dark Elves, yeah, it just got less interesting. What I want so badly is a series not about Drizzt. I wanted about his family members. I want about the Spider Queen. I want to find out what's going on there. I want a whole series about that, and I would just eat it up. And so yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, the lore here is great. I find all the magic and everything involving there is just top notch. But that's really like the only thing going for it at this point for me. You know, the prose is just pretty pedestrian. You know, it's basic teenage action sequences, which aren't bad in and of themselves, but you know, nothing to eat up here. You know, the characters feel, you know, a little bit two-dimensional. You know, I don't want to say one-dimensional because they have a couple facets to them, but you know, it's not, you know, you don't get a ton here, especially the side characters. They all feel like they are who they are, and you know, we're not going to get a lot of depth out of these characters. It's really all about Drizzt, and so yeah, that's where I'm at. You know, we'll see how things go, but yeah, not super looking forward to going forward, and we'll figure it out. So don't have a lot more to say. We're going to drop it off there in a little bit shorter of a review. Thanks so much for watching this, and as always, happy reading to you. Thanks again to all my patrons, with a special shout out to my Ascendant tier and Librarian tier patrons: Amy, Alex P, Anna G, CJ, Doused, Darren, Daniel O, JD, Jonathan, Josh, Nathan T, Nev's Book Channel, 𝐿, Ron Reich, Russell, Ryan L, Sydney Baker, Slay, Tahir, Anna, Andra, Blair, Brock, Evan, Joe UK, Kat Mick, Marcus, Michael Sugarman, and Sky. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video, and if you want to watch some more content from my channel, click over here and I've got some good videos for you. Thanks so much.